Oh, I just can't wait to be king. That is what Prince William tells King Charles when he tucks him into bed and he holds the pillow right. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. Another day and another weird article. And this is written by Wales Source UK journalist Roya Nika. And we know how very well connected she is to the Waleses. But that's later in the video. But quick side note, and if you haven't already, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. I don't know why I feel like this time or this period of the royal family, like I feel like they're in their Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows era, where this is Harry Potter and this is Voldemort, Lord Voldemort. And the UK press is obviously the Death Eaters that's trying to take over, or they have taken over, the Ministry of Magic. I just feel like that's a great analogy of what's happening right now. But before I take a trip down conspiracy territory, I have to get in proper form. I don't know why I feel like something is missing. I don't feel like a crown critter. I don't feel deranged. What's missing? What is missing? Narcissist! 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 Sugar! It isn't fair! It isn't fair! It isn't fair! So in this article, it is a reflection of King Charles' first year, and was it a success or was it a failure, and yada 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 yada. Whatever. But the two main parts that stuck out to me in this article was, for one, the beginning, the like very beginning of the article. Because it starts out talking about Diana's Panorama interview back in 1995, and how one of the big revelations of revelations, excuse me, one of the big revelations of that interview was that not the there are three people in this marriage comment, but it was also the comment about how she said Prince Charles, she felt, was not a real king, or he wasn't up to par to be a king. And then Roya goes on into the article pretty much contradicting Princess Diana's claims, and I guess giving Charles his flowers and saying that his first year was a success. How so? What really was a success? I'm confused on that part. Damn near half of the Commonwealth is trying to get rid of the monarch as being the head of state, and he's failed to be a unifier for his family, meaning Harry and Meghan and their children. Um, and the UK is in financial ruins, and there's a cost of living crisis. Yet he still went to continue to do his coronation. How exactly was his first year a success? Oh, right. I mean, they're working with you guys. They give you guys scoops and stuff. So, of course, that's a success, because when they're quiet, when they're dignified, and when they just tap dance for the UK press and the UK media just to be, or just to have puff pieces written about them, I guess that's a success. So, by that definition, yes, his first year was a success. But the main takeaway of this article that really stood out to me was this part where it says that Prince Charles sees himself as a caretaker king, and he's paving the way for Prince William to be the change maker. And he finds the workload to be an unexpected burden. Haven't this man been in the family for 70 something years and he finds a workload to be a burden? But that's where it gets strange. That's this this is why this article is so weird, because one thing I know about King Charles is that some may say he's weak, some may say he was ahead of his time as far as climate change. But one thing I do know, and there's a consistent theme or consistent consensus of who he is as a person, everyone says that he's a man who really do cares about what people says about him. He's easily fragile. If that makes any sense. And I'm not the only person who feels like this article was a very strange article. Because not only does it not make any sense, because why would he just throw himself under the bus and claim to be a caretaker while William will be the change? Which brings me back to the person who wrote this article. Roya has been very well connected to the Welleses, Kate and William. She's known to write puff pieces for them, and she's done it numerous times. And let's watch this clip first, because I'm not the only one who feels this way. Let's just watch.
End up on the throne. I mean, he's a healthy guy. He could be there for 2 more decades.
Yeah, good evening, Dan. I find this story very, very strange indeed. If it's come from somebody close to Charles with his authority, I'm absolutely astonished by it. I mean, we're not even a year into his reign. We all know it was going to be an impossible act to follow the Queen, and we all know we got a glamorous couple in William and Kate waiting in the wings. But, you know, within a year, to be sort of putting out there that he's finding the workload difficult when we know what a hard worker he is, and that he might be just what they call a stopgap king, I think it's a very strange message to send out, and I just wonder where this has actually come from. I'd love to know the source of this, because I can't believe that Charles is happy with sending out a message like that.
Lord Voldemort, I keep saying it. And listen, guys, let me just say this first. Let me put this disclaimer up. This is strictly my opinion based off of patterns that I've been picking up, things I've noticed, and journalists who I actually believe. On top of what Meghan, Harry has said, on top of what Princess Diana has said about the whole monarch as a whole, these are my opinions, and I'm just giving just that. So please, don't take this as fact. Make up your own mind, follow your own research, but this is what I think. It absolutely makes no sense for Charles to write or source an article like that. That is, what would be the point of that? But based off of this journalist, my antenna's just going off. And here's why. Back in, I want to say maybe late March and the majority of April of this year, and a few of us who does this type of content, we've all kind of noticed, like around that time, there was a lot of very overwhelming positive coverage about William and Kate, like this article. And of course, they had to use, the closest black colored person next to them, who happens to be Alison Hammond from This Morning. And this was part of this whole mini tour in the UK that William and Kate were on, and this is one of the stops they stopped at. They stopped in Birmingham, and they were stopping at small businesses, and they were having a pint. And then there was this puff piece right here, and this puff piece right here. There were just puff piece after puff piece and positive coverage of William and Kate all through the month of April. And you barely heard anything about the new king and the new queen until this article right here on the Telegraph that dropped, I want to say the end of April. It dropped on a weekend, first of all. and it just came out of nowhere. And then it just kind of just came and went. But it was what was in the article that is still a mystery, and a lot of us, our antennas went off. Because in this article, it has some of the most blatant, obvious answers to questions for one particular comment that we've all been waiting for. But no one seems to have caught it. But us who does this type of content, and you guys who watch this type of content. But it discusses, or it mentions this letter that Prince Charles sent to Meghan right after the Oprah interview, where he was discussing the color comment about Archie's skin color. Mind you, we did not know this information. We had no idea that Prince Charles even reached out to Meghan about this comment. But in this article, it was revealed. And it wasn't Meghan or her team who leaked this at all. Because, for one, Meghan and Harry had already spoke about every single thing. Well, I don't think they spoke about everything. But they had already discussed a lot in that documentary. Why wouldn't they have discussed this? Why wouldn't they have put this piece of the puzzle in the documentary? I feel like they didn't do it because it will reveal too much. And this is why. Because in this article, it's in this paragraph right here, it states that it is understood that both the king and the duchess acknowledge that the individual's remark was not made with malice. The duchess is believed to have thanked the king for his words. The duchess' letters also said to suggest that she had never intended to specifically accuse the individual involved of being a racist, but was raising concerns about unconscious bias. Now, if it is true that Meghan said that, I have my opinions. I think a lot of us have the same opinion. This is not unconscious bias. This is straight up racism. But that's a whole nother story. But what is revealed in this article speaks volumes, because it truly eliminates Prince Charles even being involved in this whole comment. Because if they're discussing the individual, that means that it wasn't Prince Charles. So who else was left that it could be? Now, I'm not saying that it's William, but I'm just saying, around April, the positive coverage about Kate and William and how they basically were just overshadowing Charles and Camilla, and then this article comes out. What do I always say, guys? Some ain't clean in buttermilk. And ever since that article, that Telegraph article came out, there's been like this weird kind of like mudslinging or briefing against each other. It haven't been like obvious, but it just feels like briefing against each other. The Welleses and the king and queen. Here's my thing, guys. I feel like this whole aristocratic circle, this bubble, the royal family and people that's surrounded by them and close to them, I feel like they all live in a bubble and they are rich. They don't operate on the same morals and compass that we operate on, and I just feel like their whole existence, not all of them, but a lot of them, is based on remaining in power, relevancy, and just that's it. So I can totally see William and his team briefing to prop him up, because let's keep it a bean. The UK press, and hell, I don't even think William wants Charles to be king. I feel like they want that angle because I feel like Prince William and the UK press is competing with Meghan and Harry. And right now, I don't know if they can fully compete with them in this state of just being Prince and Princess of Waleses. I think I'm done.